I'm Sarah Loebner. I'm a senior. Cool. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Those of you who know me might find it hard to believe that in my 4 years here at Scripps College, I have never once lost my ID card. I have lost pretty much everything else. My pencils, one time my cell phone, a bunch of socks, my glasses, because they're usually on my head, and only on occasion, but I have lost my composure. I know that it's probably just luck that I didn't lose my ID, but humor me and let's pretend it's something way bigger. I've kept track of this ID so carefully because it is, by definition, evidence of my identity. I have been who this card says I am. Sarah Loebner, student of Scripps College. The photo of me looks a bit younger, though still recognizable. The surface of the plastic is marred with numerous scratches and scars from swiping into the maximum number of meals all over the 5 C's. This card and I have seen a lot of really great pasta and burritos together, and a lot of life. And it's astounding to feel how different I am standing here at commencement from the person I was when I walked through the doors of Denison Library at matriculation. But it's impossible to see what's really changed by looking at this outdated picture of my face. Because what's most different about me is my voice. We all came to Scripps with that fresh out of high school bravado, that sense that adulthood was right at our fingertips. And all we had to do was convince a bunch of strangers of who we were, where we stood, and what we stood for. But many of us had never been given the proper tools to express ourselves so that people would listen. When I got here, I didn't even realize that I had anything to say. I felt lost in a space that felt miles ahead of me in every way. I'd never felt inclined to speak what was on my mind because, though I'd never really dwelled on it before, the assumption had never been that what I had to say would matter to anyone once I said it. Time and time again, from every direction, we are encouraged to calm down, cool off, and quit complaining. So it's easy to forget that our words and our thoughts and our opinions matter. But Scripps was here to remind us of that. Attending Scripps College is an opportunity to affirm, without doubt, the concept that we have something to say. So here, on this beautiful campus, is where we reclaim our voices. Maybe after a few weeks of our first semester here, our initial confidence showed signs of wearing off, and we realized we had so much more to learn about everything we ever thought we knew. The core curriculum threw us together to go head first in our efforts to challenge what we had come to believe, not for the sake of contradiction, but in the name of incorporating the collective experience into new perspectives and frames of mind. There began our multifaceted role of being Scripps students. We were here to teach each other what our experiences had taught us, and to learn from others' narratives that looked so different from our own. And with this exchange of knowledge and experience, we sparked the telling of a new narrative, one of compassion, one of creativity of the mind, commitment to justice, and choosing to be bold in the faces of those who would silence us. This collective narrative that Scripps urged us to compose and share has taken hold in each of us in so many different ways. It's transformed us into activists, scientists, novelists, teachers, advocates, scholars, and everything in between. Being a Scripps student doesn't mean being anyone in particular. It just means that whoever we are, we can and should be that person confidently, courageously, and hopefully. Because it's clear that we each have a voice, and that voice holds immeasurable power. And it's true that you never really know what you have been given until it's gone. Earlier this year, I had to have surgery on my vocal cords, and I literally lost my voice for 2 months. No chatting with friends, no crying over cute dogs. I couldn't make a sound. And it was only then that I came to fully realize how powerful Scripps had made me feel when I'd finally worked up the confidence to crank up the volume on my voice. A voice that had been unearthed by the learning and growing experiences I had been having on campus. When my voice was taken away, I missed jumping into passionate discussions in the classroom, discussions that reminded me of the diversity of experiences present here at Scripps. I missed joining my classmates in casually unpacking social structures over dinner. I missed plain old talking a lot. In case you can't tell, I love to talk. But something I never felt, not for 1 second, was powerless. Because while Scripps had taught me that I had the power to speak when I had something to say, I had also learned the profound power in listening intently to others. There are so many people out there that have important words to say, but no one willing to listen to them. The ignored are all around us, even among us. Look anywhere and you will find someone whose experiences have been brushed aside to make way for what's considered to be more important. And Scripps has gone far beyond telling us to seek these people out and speak for them, because the problem isn't that they lack voices. The problem is that they lack a microphone and an eager audience. Many of us have those things. We've found them with the help of everyone we've ever met at Scripps, and they've been gifted to us due to our circumstances. But by giving the silenced our open ears, we share the tools that we've been so lucky to receive. We can and must be their eager audience. We have the power to pass our microphones to them in favor of projecting a story nobody has ever had the opportunity to hear before. I didn't feel powerless when unable to speak, because listening to the conversations around me without the option of interrupting was one of the most empowering experiences I've ever had. Of course, not being able to chime in was difficult, because now that I know my voice, I want to use it whenever I can. But despite that being hard, listening came so easily, because it's been made very clear to me over the years that active listening is the most crucial thing we can bring to a conversation. I graduate from Scripps today with the knowledge that it is in my hands to not only speak my mind, but also to focus on breaking down the barriers between those that are silenced and their own podiums. Scripps has taught us that there is strength in being heard and strength in listening. But it would be misleading to imply that these lessons happened entirely in the classroom. I think it's fair to say that most of this learning was hands-on in much more informal settings. The class of 2014 is made up of a spectacular collection of individuals who bring their entire selves to every single one of their interactions. Every moment we spend with each other is an opportunity to share, learn, and explore. Each graduate's unique spirit is something that the entire class feels an inexplicable connection to. We revel in each other's achievements, We reach out to each other in moments of hurt. There's a tangible solidarity that unites all of us. And I think it's been there since the night before our first core paper was due. People always say it's easy to lose touch after graduation. But to me, it seems like our class is going to have a really hard time losing touch, because who would want to let this go? Honestly, I'm a little terrified of leaving Scripps, but it's more than being scared of finding my way in an environment that's less attentive to the moments when I feel small. Like, that does make me nervous, but what I'm more nervous about is what the world is going to turn into when we start unleashing the power of the class of 2014 onto an unsuspecting public. Coming to Scripps, we were ultimately quiet, maybe even timid. We didn't want to take up space. But now, we burst at the seams of this campus. Every space we occupy here is one that must struggle to accommodate our confidence. When we charge into the next stage of our lives, wherever we go, I know that we will not stand for anyone believing they can turn down the volume of any voice. We will demand that those who hold power they have no right to relinquish it, because there is no good reason why the world we're about to embrace as our own shouldn't look a little bit more like what we've had here these past 4 years. So what do I do with this scratched up ID card? It's going to be deactivated, and it won't open any doors. I'll probably keep it in my wallet forever. Not because we've been together for so many years and I can't break up with it, but more because it's evidence of how far I've come and the place that made me who I am today. Because looking at it, it's unbelievable how different I am from the girl in the photo. I am now so much more than this ID card can ever say about me. I think we all are. Each of us has grown to be so much more than who we were. We don't need these ID cards to open any doors anymore, because now we have the strength to open any door without them. Congratulations, class of 2014.